Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. I am a big fan of the Mission Impossible series, so I cannot wait to see the seventh movie in this franchise that expands back to, get this, almost 30 years ago. The first Mission Impossible was in 1996. All the Mission Impossible movies have this formula they like to follow. Obviously, Tom Cruise is the lead. They bring back a great cast with really good chemistry. Ving Rhames is back, and Simon Pegg, Rebecca Ferguson, who kind of plays his team. You got the iconic theme song with the great 5/4 time signature. You got Tom Cruise running a lot, doing a tracking of his run. In fact, there is a lot of Tom Cruise running in this movie, more so than it seems like in the past ones. You've got spies, you've got intrigue, you've got some really great action scenes. Tom does as many of his stunts as he can. You probably have seen the scene of him riding a motorcycle off of a mountain. He's actually doing that. That was released on YouTube. You can go watch a video of him practicing going off a ramp, off of a motorcycle, and then parachuting off of it. That's actually him doing that. There's some iconic chase scenes that's in this movie where he's one that's actually driving. It's not giving anything away, but in the trailers, they show him driving a car with the doors knocked off, along with Haley Atwell, who's also in this movie. And in the movie, they're handcuffed as he's driving. Well, you find out behind the scenes, he actually wanted to be handcuffed so he can make it look as real as possible. And he's doing all those driving things. So kudos to him for trying to bring a movie to the screen that people are going to really enjoy with a lot of action. And this is no different. To prep for this movie, we actually went back and watched the last one, Fallout, which I absolutely love. It was the favorite in the series. Henry Cavill in it was fantastic. Again, the action scenes were really good. I really enjoyed the story. And the story and the action scenes in this one are really good too. The thing is, though, in this movie, it seems the story for me is a little bit more difficult to follow. There was a few more plot holes in this one that I was kind of scratching my head on. However, like I said, this is part one. So a lot of this stuff may be answered in the next movie. And I think that's important going in knowing this is part one. So they don't really kind of wrap it up with a nice little bow because they can't, because they're going to have another movie coming after it. But they tie it up to where it's not like this dramatic cliffhanger, so that you're not like, well, great, now I got to wait and see what happens. But anyway, so it's really hard to judge the whole story compared against the others because you haven't seen what the whole story is. I will say, so far, I think I like the villain in Fallout more than I do the one in this one. But again, I have to see what happens in the next movie to see how this villain kind of plays out. I will say one of the standouts of the movie was Haley Atwell. She was the one that played Peggy Carter in the MCU movie. She played Captain America's girlfriend back in World War II. Her and Tom have really good chemistry together in this movie. So she's really focused on a lot, and it's really great to see her in this role. She's got really good acting chops and everything. Also, I will say it seemed to be there was more humor in this movie than I remember in previous ones. And it's nice to have a little bit of levity here and there. There were a couple times I felt like, maybe you shouldn't have put a joke here or there because it didn't really fit. But otherwise, I had a really, really good time watching this movie. Now, this movie is 2 hours and 40 minutes, which if you've read or seen any of my other reviews, if it goes over 2 hours, you better keep me entertained. I must say, I never did look at my watch. I got to give them credit. Even with Fallout, which was clocking in around 2 hours and 30 minutes, that movie just clicked. It just kept you engaged the entire time. And this is pretty much the same. The only kind of lull is maybe in the first act as they're kind of setting up the next two acts. But then it really picks up pace and it just keeps going all the way until the end. So as I did say, this movie is getting a lot of great reviews. However, will it make money is the question. There was a lot of issues with budget constraints and budget issues because this was made during the pandemic. And from what I've read, the budget of this movie is pushing $300 million. So again, if you use the formula where marketing's like another 150 million, you put that like at 400 million, you only get 50 cents on every dollar. This thing's gonna have to make 800 to 900 million globally to break even. Projected over the first 5 days of release, because it came out in early release, worldwide it's gonna make 250 million. So it's gonna have to have some really good word of mouth and some long legs in order to make that 800, 900 million, but I hope it does. Like in a lot of other Tom Cruise movies, he comes on at the beginning of the movie. Hey, thanks for coming out in the movies. I appreciate you. We make this movie for you. And you could tell he does do that. And I will say right now, Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise is carrying Hollywood action movies on their back because they give everything in their movies. And they're usually a lot of fun. John Wick 4 came out earlier this year. And we talked about this with my family on the way home. If I was to pit these two against each other, which I like better, John Wick 4 or the new Mission Impossible, I think I probably will say I did like John Wick 4 a little bit more. However, again, it's part 1, so we'll have to see how it kind of wraps up in part 2. Regardless, if you like the Mission Impossible series, you want to go see this on the big screen. You will be entertained, and it's worth going to see. I hope it makes its money back because it deserves to. This is basically what a summer popcorn movie should be. And it's funny, I criticize a lot of different movies, and I hear people say, oh, Marty, it's just a fun movie. Just go in and turn your brain off. Here's the thing. I shouldn't have to turn my brain off in order to make the movie fun, right? Give me a good story. Give me interesting characters. Give me chemistry, and I am going to really enjoy the movie, and that's exactly what I did with this one. So that's it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Have you seen it? Are you going to go see it? Let me know what you think in the comments.